That was another presidential address where President Uhuru Kenyatta gave another set of directives and orders, but questions over whether they will be implemented remain. All political rallies have been suspended for the next 30 days as the country seeks to contain the rising number of COVID-19 infections. This is one of the measures President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered, with once again emphasis on taking leaders to account. Vincent Odo reports on the measures that are to contain the mass gatherings, but laden with skepticism by virtue of the highest office holders being the very ones leading the assault on the law.
Today I direct that all forms of political gathering be and are hereby prohibited for a period of 30 days, effective midnight.
But the ineffectiveness of similar orders weighed down the authority of this latest one. And it is a case of same script, same cast, different date.
The Inspector General of Police shall ensure that his officers spare no muheshimiwa, no individual, irregardless of social status or rank, who is either out after curfew without being an essential worker, or who flaunts that all political gatherings and rallies are suspended for a period of 60 days.
Then, on 31st December, the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, signed off a review of the COVID containment protocols under the authority of the president. One of the directives stated that all forms of public events and gatherings which may act as super spreader events for COVID-19, including political and roadside gatherings, meetings, shall remain suspended for the next 60 days. But the scenes that followed each of these orders were totally out of order. Political leaders as well as administrative ones traversed the country on political engagements, some pushing the Building Bridges Initiative agenda, while others opposing it and preaching the hustler nation notion. President Kenyatta himself, his deputy William Ruto, his brother in handshake Raila Odinga, and other leaders have been leading in bleeding the law of its life by being in the forefront in flouting the initial restrictions on political rallies by leading huge political rallies across the country. The leaders have taken to other social events to push their agenda while pushing the law off the radar. For instance, funeral ceremonies have been turned into political platforms with disregard to the grieving. In the new measures, funerals shall be conducted strictly within 72 hours of confirmation of death and shall be limited to the immediate family of the deceased, with the numbers capped at no more than 100 persons. Further, churches which have been a favorite platform for politicians will only be allowed to host a maximum of 1/3 of its capacity.
Yule ambaye atadhubutu kuvunja hiyo sheria, awe ni nani ama ni nani, ndio nasema mpaka mimi mwenyewe, awe ni nani ama ni nani, atashughulikiwa kulingana na sheria za taifa letu la Kenya.
But a few weeks later, it was business as usual as politicians crisscrossed the country, attending huge political rallies where the COVID-19 containment measures were flouted. An initial move by the cabinet last year, having adopted a resolution by the National Security Advisory Council that required political leaders intending to hold public gatherings to seek approval from the area police 3 days prior to the planned event, still could not stop politicians from holding political rallies in the pandemic, and more so against the law. Vulnerable Kenyans were hosted to events where their lives were at risk. The government officials laid the burden of this on wananchi by telling them not to attend the events, but failing to take actions on the politicians in a mtadu kind of approach, with the police service serving a disservice to the public by offering security to the politicians who are potentially exposing people to death. Will the latest presidential orders be implemented this time round, or will they be seen to be another seeming set of suggestions? Vincent Oduor, NTV.